Okay, let me just go to my video. Here. Okay, let me just go. There we go. Come back. So let me just go ahead and pull it out over here. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is Carmen with Elemental Designs, and today we are going to be working with the product that I did briefly work with a couple days ago, which is the QuickCure clay by Ranger, and it's a kiln-free cures in just minutes. And I've got to work with it a little bit more intensively since I did go ahead. Hi Nelly, how are you, love? Thanks for joining. Hello, Sasson. So I did get a chance to kind of like play with it a little bit. Actually, almost the whole thing is gone, so I played with it a lot. Most of that's going to be revealed on March 28th at 8 p.m. when I go live for the event that is coming up, a World of Hearts event, which is going to be a live streaming event. All the links are going to be in the channel that I already, in the video that I already scheduled for that live. So if you want to stay tuned to that, make sure that you check that out. But today we're going to continue to work on this. Today is my junk to treasures. And so I took a coffee can and I already kind of started gessoing it and just adding a couple layers of the gesso, trying to smooth it out a little bit. The gesso that I use is my own DIY gesso, and I just made a fresh batch. While I was getting myself ready to play with this, I did go ahead and kind of get myself started with some of the pieces so that I don't make this live stream too long. But I did go ahead and start playing with some of my embossing folders and the clay. So I did get to make a few little pieces here and there. Super, super easy to work with. I will say that. Hello, Ada. Hello, Liz. How are you, love? So I did get to like make a few pieces here and there. I did kind of share a little bit of a sneak peek at what the project is going to be for the March the 28th live stream event. So if you want to see what that is, it's not what it looks like at this point in time. That's what it looked like when I first started kind of getting the idea of what I wanted to do. It looks completely different now. So it's going to be super, super exciting to share that and actually put the whole vision to work during that live stream. So back to this. So let me just touch base on a little bit on this product so far from my experience in using it. This is not something that any child can use. Definitely do not let your children play with this. If you're going to work with this kind of product, make sure that you are there and that you are ready to like handle the situation. The reason I'm going to say this is why. Because obviously this is like, it's a quick cure. So you just apply some heat to it for a few minutes and then it kind of starts this chain reaction where the whole piece just kind of starts to heat up and kind of self-dry. That can get extremely, extremely hot. And I actually burned myself a few times. Nothing too major, but I did burn myself a few times in trying to handle it because I didn't realize how hot it was going to get. And because I'm making pieces that are kind of dimensional and they're hand molded, I had to kind of like position them into place and kind of like hold them in place to a certain extent on, you know, some parts while I was getting the shape and everything ready. And as I was curing it, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how the chain reaction, like how quick it kind of started. And before I knew it, the thing was smoking and I thought I was setting it on fire. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like it was just super, super crazy. Oh, yes, definitely going to be there. And so I was like, oh my God, like it's just not something that is safe to like just use like that. Like if you're going to use that, definitely make sure that you have something that you can handle your pieces. If you're molding on something like what I did with mine, that I was kind of molding around the frame of the clock and stuff, make sure that you have something that you can like pick up your pieces with as soon as that curing process is ready. Like once it's set and you know that it's dry and you have to kind of like lift it up, don't just go straight and lifting it up because it's still hot and it's still kind of hot for a while after that. So Just because it cures doesn't mean that like it goes to normal temperature right away. No, that activation process does take some time to kind of like dissipate, and it will be warm for a little bit. What you guys are gonna kind of see a little bit of that here, because when I did test kind of run it last week, I did it kind of quick. Honestly speaking, I didn't even read too much of the instructions, and I kind of just winged it. And now that I've got to play with it, I was like, uh-oh. Another observation is that this clay, I don't know what it is that they make it with. I don't know what kind of stone it is or what kind of, you know, active ingredient, but I realized and I noticed that when I use it, I get the feeling of like little fiberglass, kind of like poking me. Like I know that like my face will be kind of like on fire sometimes, and like my hands will feel like there's little things, you know, like it's poking it in different places. And I think I actually scratched my face without realizing, with some microscopic like something or the other, because I have like a scratch on my face, and the only thing I was playing with was this, and it's just kind of weird. But I just wanted to like, you know, put that out there. There might be some kind of particles. So if you do feel like your hands are itchy, I would say that wear some gloves, because there is a chance that whatever they're making this with, as you're molding it and, you know, working with it, you're gonna get some of those little microfibers onto your hands and stuff. And if you rub your face and stuff like that, you're gonna get it all over the place. Because that's basically what happened to me. So that was my little experience. So you guys, basically what I did is I just sold my little can. So I wasn't really quite sure what I wanted to do, and I was still kind of, you know, in the mood of playing with this clay. I still have quite a bit left. This is a 16-ounce package, and it brings about a pound. Well, 16 ounces is about a pound, right? So it brings about a pound of this clay, and it's kind of like a paper clay, and it's really, really dry. And it will dry your hands up. Like even after you use it for a while, you're gonna feel it in your hands. Even after you wash your hands, you're still gonna kind of feel it there. And it's kind of greasy to the touch, but I think that's part of the accelerant that makes it kind of cure and stuff. So, but yes, you guys. So this is what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna go placing my little pieces in place, and then I'm gonna cure them, and then I'm gonna take them off, glue them, and do some, you know, add some color here, do something with this one way or the other. So I'm gonna kind of try to figure out where exactly it is that I want my pieces. And again, I cut these out from embossing folders. Now these are really thick. These are the spell binders, like really dimensional, what you call those things? Embossing folders. So I used a few of them. For this gear, I used this one right here. This one is actually called Floral Jewel. And I used this gear right here, and I just kind of cut out, what is it? I just kind of cut out like all the little hollow areas. And I thought that would look super cute on here. So that's basically what I did. I just kind of rolled it out on my glass surface real quick, or you can roll it on any surface. And then I just applied a very thin layer to it, and then just kind of closed it up, and then ran my brayer through it a few times until I knew that the impression was nice and set. Then I carefully removed it. With this, it did a really good job. And even with this one, because I use like these two right here, I use this one by Darius, which is Gears. That one was okay. This one with the bricks did a really, really nice job. So they're all going to be a little bit different. It all depends on the kind of embossing that it has on it. So let's go ahead and start kind of heating these up. And I'm going to kind of see where I want these things to be. I have a whole bunch here that I want to kind of like go placing, go adding into place. So I'm just going to kind of fandangle this a little bit and cut wherever I need to cut. Hello, Crafty Creations. Welcome, welcome. Today we're working on an altered can. Well, we're altering a can. And we're using some of the Ranger QuickCure clay, which I've already kind of ran through my embossing folders. Not through the machine, you guys. I kind of hand rolled it out. So if you got like a rolling pin, or if you have a brayer, you can totally put the clay in here and get your pieces, and then just cut the shape that you want out of everything. This clay is not so easy to roll out really thin because it's so dry. You really have to work it quite a bit Oops, a daisy. In order to get it to kind of go the way that you want it to go. So I'm just gonna kind of do this and just kind of put these pieces all the way around. And I'm gonna leave that kind of open because I know. And the clay itself doesn't shrink. So if any of you guys was wondering if there was gonna be any shrinkage, hello, Monica. The clay itself doesn't shrink, but as it gets hard, it can pop out of place. So be aware of that. I don't mind if these little things break apart because I can just use it either way. I'll just put them in there. But let me do this part first real quick. And I don't necessarily know what is the front and what is the back. So we're just going to kind of put these in however we can. And these are just shapes that I cut out from my actual embossing folder. So after I embossed it, I saw any shapes that were good to get out and I basically took them out. So let's see. I love molding. Love, love, love it. And you're gonna definitely see a little bit more of that as I move forward. Because I really do like molding my own pieces. It's pretty soft, and the more you work it, it's malleable enough that you'll be able to get nice impressions. It's just not so soft that you can like really spread it out super, super thin. Like you're gonna really work at it. You can get it there, but you're gonna really, really work at it. Let's see. So I'm just kind of placing them one over the other or one next to the other because it's going to catch the shape. So once I glue them back, they'll all kind of fit in nicely, hopefully. One can always pray, right? So that's the goal here, to kind of get them to fit in nicely once they all dry. And I'm pressing them in, but I'm not pressing them in so hard that I lose whatever dimension and shape I've been kind of working at getting. I think I'm going to use this one on the other side. Let me use this piece right here towards the bottom. Well, let me cut this out a little bit. You know what clay is really good that I love working with? You just have to let it dry. Is the porcelain clay, especially the DIY porcelain clay. Because you can make it, as soft as you want and still achieve, a nice job. I love me that clay. I made a beautiful mermaid and all kinds of different things, an octopus and all kinds of different things. And they held their shape. I still have them to this day. And they held their shape beautifully. Okay, so let's kind of taper that off right there. Create a little something, and maybe we can add this like right here. Let me cut this part of the bottom off so it kind of is flush. Like you could even hear the fibers on it. Like when you cut into it, you could hear like it's cutting through some kind of fiberglass or something. Whatever that ingredient is that kind of activates it so that it kind of cures quickly. You can totally feel that and hear that. Okay, I did that one kind of round, so let me just kind of round this off a little bit so that they have at least a little bit. They look like they're form of the same kind of wall somehow. Let's see. And let's just kind of curve that out a little bit as well, so it doesn't look too awkward. So it's like a paper clay mixed with something else. Let's see. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what you do. Thanks. Thanks, Crafts. Don't forget to take a photo. Listen, I'm so used to winging it. I forgot what take a photo even means at this point in time. I'm always winging it. Always, always, always. Even when I don't want to, it still ends up happening. Picture, no picture. I'll forget to look at the picture. Thanks, love. I always forget. I always forget. That's like my trademark right there. If I'm known for one thing, it's for that. It's for starting off one way, ending up a completely different way. No matter how much planning I do. That just goes to show you how good I am at planning, right? What I will say that I do like so far is the fact that when I attach it to the surface, it does stay. It does stay. Like it'll pretty much stay put, you know, once you put it in place. Come on, come on, come on. I just want to be able to level it out a little bit. Got one more piece. Oh my goodness, the piece de la resistance. Viva la crafts. All right, so let's see. Let's see. I think that made this one too narrow. No. Those that fail to plan are doomed to repeat. That could be it too. That could be it too. But I think in so far all the surfaces that I've tried, because even like on the plastic, because the clock that I'm using is an item that I found that I got on clearance for like $2. And that's all plastic. The frame is all plastic. And that one actually does a pretty good job. It actually held very nicely while I was molding it and everything. So it could just be a testament to the clay. Because it's kind of sticky. So like, you know, it doesn't just fall off. All right. I'm going to add like this flower right here. And I'm going to kind of bend this out just a little bit. Pucker that flower out just a little bit. Give it a little bit of dimension. Let's see if it'll make a liar out of me or it'll show that I'm telling the truth. Stay for me, flower, please, please. All right. I just wanted to have a little bit of something kind of happening there. So let's start to kind of dry this baby up. Let me put this to the side. And then we'll see what we do. We'll see what we do to it. So basically you have to hold it in place for a while. And then it starts a chain reaction. You got to move it around. Don't just keep it stationary, you know, like move it around. And then you go parts by parts, parts by parts. Now, once they're dry, I should be able to pop them off. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. If not, then I'll just add glue and act like, you know, it's supposed to do that. And we're going to keep it moving. So I'm going to just wave my little magic wand around and let it kind of start the curing process. Then I'm going to take this away because I don't have to set it there while it dries. Once it starts the process, you kind of see it changing color. I did record some of what I was doing with my sculpting for the project, but I'm going to put that little clip up after I'm done, after I go live. And you'll get to really see it. I did a close-up and you get to really see it like as it goes, as it travels while it's drying. So we'll see. We'll see. And you can kind of start smelling it. It doesn't really smell very good. I would definitely recommend that you use this in a well-ventilated area. Oh, let's see. I kind of hear it. There it goes. Can you hear it? My alarm went off. Well-ventilated areas, you guys. We're about to go through that a few more times, so I do apologize. Let's see if we can get the batteries out, tentatively speaking. But it's kind of going. You can kind of hear it. And that's dry already. And you can kind of tell because you can, you know, you can tell when it's soft and when it's dry. This is curing. And it kind of follows its own little train. And and then it'll stop, and then you'll have to do the rest of it. So you kind of stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. You heard that, right? It's the bloopers, you guys. It's the bloopers. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So I think this is pretty much out, and it's hot, you guys. It gets super, super, super hot. I mean, the word kiln free, like this has its own kiln built into it. Like, here we go again. I still got a little bit more. Once I'm done with this, we're good to go. Let's do this brick wall real quick and do this piece up here in the top. Like, it burned the plastic, but it didn't burn it that bad, but it definitely took the color off of it. It just didn't burn into the plastic. I took the piece off right away. But it did burn. It might. It might. So if you hear me say "Ari," that's because I got burned. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I really have been having fun though playing with it. I won't lie. So yes, it does have like its precautions, you know. But it is a really, really fun medium to work with. I'm not gonna lie. If you like to sculpt and stuff like that, you're gonna have a lot of fun, and you're definitely gonna be able to do a lot of nice projects with this. They're just gonna be stiff as a rock once you're done. Like, it gets stiff as a rock. Yes, caliente, caliente. Oh, it keeps sliding now. Did it start yet? Once you see that smoke, don't touch it. As long as you don't see smoke, you can still kind of mess with it a little bit. I dip my finger in there, you guys. Look, the flower popped off already. Let me see. Anything else pop off? Oh, man. The other pieces stayed on. All right, that kind of helps me out a little bit. That's one less thing I got to worry about. Just got to glue the flower. So you just kind of hold it in place and it'll start the reaction. Once you see it kind of smoking, which I started already to see it smoke. And you can totally see it changing color. I don't know if you guys can see it. You can totally see the smoke. Depending on how thick your piece is going to be, that's, you know, how hot and how smoky it's going to get. This is really, really thin and it's super smoky. You guys can see that, right? Yeah. She's the time to go. Okay, so it's still kind of going. And now it's traveled. It's all the way over here now. Mind you, I was only drying over here and it's already traveled down. Let's kind of get this part going over here. Whoops, a daisy. And then we'll work on the tops. I'm very clumsy, you guys. Very, very clumsy. But I get the job done. All right. Come on, smoke for me, baby. There we go. You guys can kind of see that happening there. Once it hits this part of it, there's no adjustments you can do. You can't go adding lines to it. You can't add nothing to it. It's literally becoming concrete right before your eyes, and there will be no adjustments to do to these pieces once that's all set. So these are all dry now. And the can is not hot, but it is warm. The pieces themselves are hot, though. Now I'm going to have to take this lid off. I have a feeling it's going to melt right on there. So let's do that. And see. Hello, hello, Tanya. How you doing? How you doing, love? Whoop. I see smoke. I see it. I see it. So you can totally see what's wet and what's dry because once it's dry, it's matte. Um, while it's still wet, it looks kind of oily and sheeny. So, and shiny, not sheeny. So you could definitely tell when it's, and as it goes, you can see it because again, there's a line that kind of just like takes the whole surface of it, and it just kind of travels down like a little wave. And you can see it when it stops again because it's still glossy and it'll stop kind of smoking. See here, here it's still going. This part of it is done. This is still going here, and the ends of this is still going. So once this is all said and done, then I'm gonna start grabbing some other little pieces. Actually, I'm gonna let this kind of do its thing because it's still kind of smoking in there. Oh my goodness, Nelly. Do what you gotta do, girl. I appreciate you stopping by. No worries. I ain't going nowhere. My dictionary. I'm sure it has. I am sure that it has. I've been here in my little nook playing with some clay. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I need to get my little thing of metals so that I can add some other pieces in there, right? Let's see. Let's see what else we kind of add in there. Let's see, because we gotta add something. And these metals go great. Let's see. Just gonna use my braid to kind of give it a little bit of a curve. So as I go adding them in there, they kind of stay in place. So I'm just giving them a little bit of a curve as I go. And I'm just gonna kind of get a random little selection here. And I'm justling over everything again. So I'm not too worried about it. Let me use this little butterfly there. Let me get one more of these. Yes, I am. I've been collecting metals since I started YouTube. I used to buy it on eBay by the bag. I didn't even know what. Very much like Nelly, I came to find out what mixed media was, you know, after I was on here. And I was like, oh, that's a category for that? Well, at least for me, I found out once I was on here. I was like, oh, so that's what that is. I think this is quite a bit, but we'll see how we kind of add it all in there. Let's see. Can we do these? We might not be able to do the tops, but we can at least try and do the bottoms. Give them a little bit of curve. Let's get one more. And just kind of curve that out. You see treasures? She sees treasures, you guys. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Just trying to see if there's anything here that kind of pops my attention. Do I want a clock in here? See, that would have been good to add. Maybe there. Yeah, maybe I'll take the knob off. I think that's it for this. For this one. All right. So let's put this to the side. My baby Venus is relieving some stress over there with her one of her conch toys. Hello, Jackie. Welcome, welcome. All right, so basically, I think. Oh no, we got one more to go. We got uno más, uno más. So let's heat this up. Yeah, we just have one more to go. Just this piece right here. This piece and then that piece that goes next to it. That's all that's left. So let's see. Once you see the smoke, you remove the heat tool. So I have it on there, but I'm looking. There it goes. Smoke, it's smoking, like Jim Carrey says. So we got that going. That's gonna basically feed into the next little compartment right here. It's already kind of started. And then I just have to see kind of where it stops. Hopefully it'll take the whole piece, because sometimes it will take the whole entire piece and then I don't have to do this again. Hello, Kiara. Oh, well then, hello, Kiara. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're watching. Oh, you're welcome. All are welcomed here. All right, so it kind of stopped halfway. So this one's done. Now I just have to finish this one. Again, sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. You just kind of have to play it by ear. Once you see the smoke, you stop. There you go. So that it doesn't kind of overcook itself. Because you adding more heat to it is not going to make it any hotter. It might make it hotter, but it's not going to change the process. You could actually probably end up burning your piece if you add too much heat. Because it already heats itself up to a certain temperature on its own. Oh, that brings a smile to my heart. Okay. Oh, so close and yet so far. Un poquito más, just a little bit more. Right over here. And there we go. So you just start it, let it smoke up. Depending on how much it's got to cure, it's going to go through it really quickly. You can test with a pencil, which is usually what I do. Like, I'll try to scratch on it. If I know that I can write on it, then I know that it's cured. If it pushes into it, then, you know, it's not. So if a piece feels a little bit insecure to you, you just want to make sure, just run a pencil through it. If you're gonna paint over it, doesn't really matter. If you're not gonna paint over it, you're gonna leave it like that, then you know you might not want to run a pencil. I'm just saying. Let's use common sense, folks. Let's use common sense. All right, so I got my piece. Ay, está caliente. I told you guys I would say that. It's still a little warm. It's still a little warm. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of see what we're gonna do with this and where we're gonna kind of put some of these pieces. Now, I did start their curve, but obviously I'm going to have to work with them just a little bit to kind of see where we go with this whole thing. I have no idea, you guys. Oh, I kind of like that right there. Let's see the other one. Time to get the glue gun out. And although I hate this thing, I cannot stop using it. But I just like it immensely. I really, really do. Well, I let that heat up. Let me see if I can add a little bit of collaging onto here. Just a little bit of collaging, you guys. Let's see. Let's see what comes out of the work. I don't need my heat tool anymore, I don't think. Unless I'm going to dry it up once I start painting it and stuff. This doesn't have any specific kind of theme. I just kind of saw the gear and I was like, you know what? Let me just use the gear. I used a little bit of brick wall just to kind of make it look a little crazy. And then we just add a little bit of paint, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you know how it goes. And before you know it, voila. We got it. We got it. So let's see. Oh, this paper pack is the Cherry Blossom by Prima. So let's see what I end up using from here. If I end up using anything from here, I kind of like this one, actually. So let's see what we do and where we do it at. I have some open spaces here, so I want to maybe add a little bit of this. Primary can use press metal or other items into the cure. Let's find out. Let's find out. Why not? Let's try it. Let's try it. I got a few little pieces here that I was working with earlier, so they're already kind of molded. So as you can see, it does become rather pliable. You do have to kind of work with it a little bit, you know, as you do with any kind of clay, you do kind of have to work with it a little bit. I find it easier if you have a brayer. It'll actually take a lot of that work out of it. You just kind of roll a little ball, and then you just use this to kind of, you know, make it soft. Just kind of, you know, do that. And that'll make it nice and pliable for you. Let me use these other pieces that I have here, because I might as well add all this clay back into it. And let's go ahead. Oh, you are? That's one obsession that I haven't really like dove in head first. I have a very nominal amount of papers in that department. I only get a few of them, and I think like 40% of the ones I have I don't like, because I got them into these stashes and stuff like that. So I like pretty paper though. Don't get me wrong. I just got me the blue collection from Prima. Oh my god, I'm so in love with it. I mean, it's themed, so of course I was gonna gravitate towards that. But I so in love with it, you guys. Oh my goodness, I'm so in love with it. All right, so what do you guys want to see? Something like this, or you want something that's more dimensional? Dimensional is just gonna create a cavity though. Like this, you'll get a nice impression maybe, or something like that. So let's see. Now let's push that in as far as we can. It does a little something. Like I said, this clay is kind of hard when it comes to impressions. Like for this, it wasn't the easiest thing. I had to do it obviously on the negative side to get the actual imprint of it. And I really had to work it just to get it to, like, you know, give me a nice shape. And if you'll see how thick, I don't know if you guys can see how thick it is on the side, even with as much as I've rolled it out, and I've rolled it out like as thin as I possibly could, and it's still pretty thick. And I think as you dry it, it gets even thicker. But it comes out really thick. It's not so easy to work with. Let's try the other one before I do that. Let's try the other one. Let's see. Let's remove that one and just kind of multi tools. This is what I'm talking about. It's not just a brayer for paint, you guys. Use the brayer on your clay. Use it everywhere. All right, so let's try this one and see. If you leave the metal in there, it'll definitely trap it. That's no ifs, ands, or buts. It'll definitely trap it. So if, let's say, if you wanted to get like a nice flat sheet and like roll it onto this can and secure your can with like this really pretty sheet, you know, nice and smooth. You wanted to grab a whole bunch of like metal stuff, and you want to just stick it all in there and just have it. Okay, girl, I got you. Sorry. And you want to, like, you know, have everything like kind of like encapsulated into it, it'll do it. I'm pretty sure that it'll do it. You're just gonna have to press into it like really, really hard. Let's see the other side, because it's not so easy. That's the issue. So you're gonna have to really, really press into it on certain points to get it to give you that nice, pretty impression. Let's see. See, something like that. If you wanted to use it kind of like a stencil, So you can do it. You can achieve it. And if you're gonna leave it in there and it's gonna cure, it is gonna kind of it doesn't so much shrink as it kind of puffs up. So I think it will kind of grab it and kind of hold it in place. Will it hold it in there forever? That's, you might want to put some glue over it just to make sure that it does kind of hold it in place. And then back inside. And it doesn't air dry, so I mean, you can literally have it on the surface and work with it for God knows however long, and you'll probably find the clay looking exactly the same the next day. It's like a cross between like paper clay, polymer clay, and like fiberglass or something. So when it heats up, it's like you're welcome, you're welcome. All right, so let's keep playing with this paper now that we have some of this stuff there. And that's all clay right there. You're gonna see, and you can hear it. Sounds like sand. So let's see. And I'm gonna kind of, maybe that's too big. Maybe that's too big. I kind of like that shape on that side. So maybe kind of doing something like that. Kind of putting that there like so. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's go, you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're very welcome. I got my pasta maker for my clay. Oh, you do? Girl, I can't get another piece of equipment. I think they're gonna throw me out of here. I got my Explorer, my Anna Griffin Explorer. I got my Anna Griffin die cutting machine. I'm good to go. I'm twinning, as they say, and I could not be happier. Let me go ahead and rip off this rough edge so that I can kind of jam it into the other edge a little bit better. That way I can more seamlessly kind of jam that in there and not worry too much about it. So let me go ahead and start adding some glue. And what I have here is decoupage matte, because I don't want it to be super glossy, because most likely I'm going to add glossy paint anyway, but just in case. So let me go ahead and just kind of add this here. And I'm going to be somewhat liberal with the glue. This dries clear, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And I'm just going to do that. I was thinking about adding stenciling to this, so I don't know. We'll see if I add any stencil. I think it's got a lot of texture as it is, but we'll see. I might draw, or not too much draw, but more or less paint in like a somewhat kind of like a garden scene in the background. So maybe add some blues, add some greens, a little bit of grass here, a little bit of grass there, something like that, right? At the same time, I'm going to take advantage of just kind of glue over all this stuff, because you never know. I don't need these things popping off when I least expect it, startling me. Oh, this is not cured. See? You find stuff. I had a little piece of clay wiggle on me. Let's see. Right here. Mom, baby, let me see the smoke. I bet. That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. I hope it doesn't have a negative reaction, because I kind of hit it with the glue. Come on, dry, my friend, dry. We are all waiting. Are you smoking yet? It's only like the tiniest little piece. See, that's one thing I lack is patience when it comes to this. I want it so fast. I'm like, hurry up, hurry up. I can have patience for everything else, but I'm like rushing this right now. Hurry up. Hurry up. I might go and get some flowers. Let me see. Maybe. Right? Add some flowers in here. But I'm going to make like a little makeshift garden out of it. I might as well get some flowers. I'm still waiting for this chain reaction to take place in this little bit right here. But I don't know if that's actually going to happen. The other part seems to be dry. Right? Yeah, that seems to be dry. It's just this little piece right here is kind of glossy. Let's see, is it dry? It's dry enough. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it moving, you guys. Yes, we are. All right, so I added that piece. Now let's add another piece to the other side, just to kind of keep them copacetic, if you will. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that there. And let me just straighten this up just a little bit more. This is too big. Let's cut it up just a little bit more. There we go. That's a lot better. So let's just kind of add all this here. Okay. All right. So I like that. I like that. I like that. This can has ridges, so I'm trying to make sure that I push all the air out from under those ridges without tearing the paper up. For me, when you leave like little air pockets like that, that'll be the first place where those things kind of break down. Let me see. I think in the back, I'm gonna add something here. Let's see. I don't worry so much about these scraps because I end up using them on art journals anyway. I'm gonna curve this out just a little bit so that I can kind of put it around there. There we go. I like that a lot better. And then I'm gonna add some glue. And add this part onto it. And let me get my X-Acto little blade over here. Just so that I can kind of rip up a little bit of this paper over here. I don't so much strive for perfection, but I do like it to be neat. So let's see. So I kind of got that into the little grooves there. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, kind of just following where my clay is. And hopefully it's wet enough that it'll let me kind of like rip the little bits and pieces off. Oh, I'm glad that you're back, Donna. I'm glad everything went well. All right, so I added a few little bits of paper, nothing too major, mostly like on the back of the can, because in the front of the can, I want some flowers to maybe show through or something. So we'll see how that kind of goes. Let me go ahead and clean my brush out real quick, because if you don't clean your brush after you use any kind of glue, my friends, you will end up with a spatula. You will. It'll be hard and plastic. So make sure that you clean that glue right off. Even paint is easier to get off of your brushes than the glue is once it's dry. Especially these kinds of glues. I've turned many a brush into a spatula in my day. So make sure you wipe that off as well as you can. Or have a cup of water or something next to you so you can just kind of dip it. All right, so we've kind of done that. Let me go ahead and give that a quick dry. Wrong side. Quick little dry. All the while smoothing out my edges. Making sure everything is everything on here. And in the next hour of this installment, we shall be coloring. I don't know what I'm going to do with the lid as yet. I might not even add the lid. Maybe I'll leave the lid on the bottom so that I have like a nice little black border around the bottom. And maybe I'll add some kind of pearl trim or something or the other to the top of this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all kind of comes out. Right now, I'm going to thoroughly dry this, because once I start adding paints and mediums and waters and sprays and all kinds of stuff, this paper, if it's not dried well, it's just going to fall apart on me. Then I'll have a hot little mess on my hands that I have to clean. And I do not want no hot little mess on my hands to clean. So let's try to do this as well as we can while we can. And I am going to add a little bit of gesso, I think, to some of those edges, just so that those edges catch color again, because the glue is not going to allow any of that paint to really settle in those little grooves and areas because of the glue. So I know I said that twice. So we shall see how it's all going to work out. And I think that is pretty good to go. See, my hands are sticky, and it's more from working with the clay than it is from actually dealing with any of the glue or any of the other stuff. It's just, it tends to be permanently kind of sticky. At least until you like really, really wash your hands well. Where is my glue gun? Because I know I saw you here. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. All right, so we got our little flower that we kind of just plop on there. Should I? Yeah, that's gonna go right there. So let me just go ahead and add that in there real quick. And I'm telling you, this thing dries like pure, pure, pure cement, you guys. That is the one thing that I really, really enjoy about it, is the fact that I have fast results. Usually you have to mold it and leave it there for days, like if you're using an air dry clay, or if you're using a polymer clay, you have to bake the clay or boil the clay, because usually what I'll do is I'll make my molds and I'll boil them, as opposed to baking them, because that controls the fumes. It doesn't allow, it doesn't release as many fumes as when you bake it, than when you boil it. With the boiling, you just have to be careful. Like for a sheet like this, it's not a good idea to boil it, obviously, because it's gonna, it's gonna wrap itself up all over the place. But for other things, you can totally go ahead and get away with it and do it. All right, so let me go ahead and start trying to assemble my little can here. And I'm gonna put this right there. Give the paper back. We do not need the paper. And I'm going to put this glue right along these grooves here on the side and along the center. And since I am going to gesso all of this, hopefully, just going to try to push that into place a little bit. It'll all kind of like catch nicely. No, it's okay. Welcome back. So far, all you've missed is a little bit of decoupaging that we did. We already have all of our clay pieces assembled around the can. Now we're adding some metal pieces to this. And it doesn't have to be precise, you guys. I'm not one that strives for perfection all the time. I just strive for comfortable. If it feels good to me, it's good to go. And you just kind of play with your pieces and see, mold it till it fits. Whoops-a-daisy. And hold it in place. Yes, the metal can cure into the clay. I'm pretty sure of it because this kind of clay puffs up as it dries. So I'm thinking that for something that has like a lot of openings in it, like for something like this that has a lot of different openings in it, it'll definitely feed through it, and as it puffs up, it'll kind of hold it in place, especially like around the edges. So you could totally do something that's like encapsulated. I believe so. Now, with something that doesn't have any openings, I'm not sure unless you really make sure or make a point to push the clay up around the edges so that as it dries, it kind of holds it in place. So if it doesn't have like any of those grooves or none of that texture, then that might be a good option to do. So for doing something like this, if I wanted to do this first and I wanted to cure it in place, I probably could have added this piece into that right there, pressed that in nicely, and then dried it, and most likely it would secure it, and now we'll just have to paint over it or gloss over it or whatever, just to make sure that it's really, really secure. Yeah, I think it would. I think it would, and I think it'll make a fabulous piece too. I think it'll make a fabulous, fabulous piece. So let's keep adding some more metals here and there and see where we go, you guys. See where we go. I don't even know. I don't even know at this point in time. I don't even know. I'm just going to add different textures here and there. And again, you could add glossy and stuff like that, or like a heavy gel, which is most likely recommended if you have the time to wait for it to dry. I don't. Now, when I do these types of lives, I usually don't go towards those glue because they take a while to dry. But when I'm doing my projects here, like a regular project, then I will totally go for that because I have the time to allow it to dry properly. For these lives, I usually try to take like little shortcuts here and there, but yes, I'm like this. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, hurry up and dry. Hurry up and dry, please. Hurry up and dry. I need to go. Mind you, I'm not going anywhere, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I need to go. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. All right, so let's go ahead and add more, and I'm just gonna find little random places to kind of put some of these. They might not necessarily fall into any specific pattern. So we're just gonna kind of do that and see how it goes. Let me go ahead and clip this off of this button. This we're gonna glue. Oh, I was gonna glue that there. I guess I'm not gonna glue that there anymore. Maybe I'll put that here instead. What's 12 o'clock? Oh, there it is. All right, so maybe I'll just put that kind of like right there. So it's like one circle feeding off of another circle, feeding off of another circle. I have no idea. So let's see. Let's see. And most of these little glue bits will kind of fade away as you kind of heat the thing up if you want to heat it up, if you want to remove them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I add like, oh, that's just texture. I did that on purpose. That was meant to be like that. Or I go into, what you talking about, Willis mode? Like, I have no idea what you're saying. Okay, so let's see. It's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. For me, it's gotta make sense somehow. Do I have another one of those? What do I have here? A whole bunch of different stuff. Should I put these flowers there? No. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna use the flowers today. I don't think so. Because it don't look good. What I will need is maybe if I can find one of these. Because I'm thinking right along here, right along the bottom, that might look good for some texture on both ends. So let's see if I can find one. That will be the question. Could I use one of these? I don't want to use that. I don't want to use the same one on the top and on the bottom. What if I cut one of these in half? How will half look? Half and half? Half and half. Maybe? You like the pointy ones? Which is the pointy ones? This one? Half and half. I'm trying to see if I do half and half. I think I do like the pointy ones too, because it points, well, on this one it points where it's supposed to point, on the other one, because I didn't, no symmetry to my situation, ever. Ever. Yes, half and half. Half and half, like my coffee. Half and half. That's another thing that's awesome about filigrees is the fact that you can cut them and alter them. You could turn them to more dimensional flowers and roses, and you could do so many different things with them. That's kind of how I learned about filigree, was by buying a bag, and then I saw how bendable the metal was, and I was like, oh, I could make flowers with this. And yep, I sure did. So I made roses. Oh my God, that video looks like I filmed it on a Motorola flip phone. That's how old it is. It is like the worst when it comes to quality. I might have to do another one at some point, but it's super easy. No, the other under the can. What? Which one? This one? Yeah, it is kind of this one, right? This one has the little points on it. This is what you're talking about? Or you talking about the real, this bushy mother lover right here? You talking about this one? Poinsettia? Is that what this is? I have no idea. This is like a hybrid. This is a poinsettia hybrid. The only reason I didn't want to put the flower in the bottom is because it's gonna overlap the bottom of the can. So when I put the flower on it, I'm gonna have to cut it down. I don't want to cut this down. Oh, you have? See? Girl after my own heart. You know? Love ingenuity at its finest. I burned myself again. Okay, let's see. Let's push this baby in there so that we can kind of get this into place. And I'm just gonna hold this there until it kind of stares. Not a flower. It looked like a teardrop. Oh yeah, I only found one. I only found one, and I wanted to put them on both sides. I think I know what you're talking about. It's the one that I threw back in here because I only found the one. Now I have no idea where the heck it went. I know I threw it back in there. I think, right? I threw it back in one of these bags. Okay, so we have a few metal pieces here. I have something here. Let me add something there. Smaller things here. Maybe a little capuchon or something. No. Maybe an actual gear. Maybe an actual gear, right? Or a door opening thingamabob. Can I bend this? Oh no, you can't bend this. It broke. Oh Lord. No bueno, man. No bueno. Okay, let's see. Maybe I got a smaller one. This one maybe? No, No me gusta. Me no likey. Yeah, right. I gotta listen. I started a journey of cleaning up my channel. I have almost 900 videos, if not a little bit more than 900. Honestly, I have a boatload of videos because when I first got on YouTube, I literally recorded everything. It was like Dear Diary. Today I did this. Today I did that. So I literally recorded everything on, every single thing that I was trying, every single thing that I was like, oh look, I got an idea. Let me do this. I was recording everything in its mother, and I have like the worst quality videos in life there. And I have to get rid of all of them. But I'm like nostalgic, you know? I'm like, dang it, if I get rid of them, like, that's my proof that I was here way back when. Even though nobody watches those videos anymore, I don't think. I don't think anybody watches those anymore. They're pretty old. I don't think YouTube promotes Stone Age videos. Ma, put some gear flowers. Put some gears where? Put gears and flowers. I'm going to go get some flowers now. As far as gears, I don't think I'm going to add any more gears to that, but I'm going to see what I have. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to add any more gears to that, to be honest with you. I don't want it to be like too overwhelmingly steampunk. I just want it to have a little bit of steampunk in it, I think. What I am going to do is I'm going to go and get some flowers so I can kind of like add some flowers here and there. So just give me a second while I do go and run and get that. Maybe right here. Right here. Stay there. Stay there. I like that butterfly right there. I might add a few butterflies here and there. Let me see if I find another one. Let me see if I get lucky. You know what it is with the metals? You always use your favorite pieces first because you get so inspired, right? And then you end up like using, oh, maybe this little one right here. I found one. You end up using all your favorite pieces first. And then, I mean, everything is good for mixed media, which is awesome. You can literally get away with just about anything. But for me, I use all of my hot pieces so fast. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I have any butterflies. I don't think I put them there. So I have them here. Oh, I found one more. In my organization, I always forget where I put my stuff because I'm always like, oh, let me put it here because I'm going to remember. Yeah, right. Remember. Shoot. Remember sounds like November, and that's a long ways away. Yes. And that's why I kind of like, I can't help it but to be somehow like instructional in the way that I do my videos, which basically means that I'm always like, I do this and I do that and don't do this and don't do that. Like, that's just my way of, that's just the way that I am. That's how I've always approached it. So I feel like, oh my God, I'm going to take these videos down and then somebody's going to need to see this and they're not going to be able to see this. And I've failed my crafty community because now they don't have it. So I don't know what to do. Let me go get some flowers. I'll be right back. I found a bag of like assorted mess that we can sort through and see what else we can add in here. And I got some flowers. My flower choices are not the, the creme de la creme, but they do the job. And it doesn't matter to me the colors of the flowers because I always paint them anyway. I always gesso them anyways. I think that's part of the reason why I never became somebody that like collects flowers to use in like scrapbooking projects. And now I'm like, dang it, I should have done it. So I'm gonna have to start doing that now. Yes, we definitely did. My first video ever was of a book cover um, that I basically, you know, a scrap cover of a book that I basically decided to draw a face on or paint a face on or something. And that was my very first video ever. And it is like the craziest looking thing in the world. And I always kind of like, every now and then I kind of like go back to that video and I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe you survived. But you know, it reminds us of where we've come from, and definitely of how much we've learned. More so than anything, I think for me is how much I've learned from being here and sharing and engaging and all of that good stuff. Because, like I said, I didn't even know mixed media was mixed media until I got here, and I was like, "Hey, what you talking about? That looks like what I do." Then I come to realize a lot of people do it in all kinds of ways. So super, super awesome. Okay, I don't know. I got a key here. I found some chipboard. This is like a hot mess, you guys. This is a hodgepodge bagosh of stuff. I gotta go through all this. I definitely do. Oh man, I found a seahorse. See, I got sea themed things everywhere. Oh my goodness, say that 3 times fast. Sea themed things. You saw that one? Yes, that's a long time ago. That is a long time ago, my friend. All right, so let me see where this thing needs like a gear. Like I think like right there, maybe it'll need a gear. So I'm gonna clip this actually to make it fit that little section there. So how am I gonna do this? Like this, like this, and then wait, I did this wrong, right? Give it back to me. Give it back to me. There we go. All right, so let me just add a little bit of glue to that right there. Where's my brooch? It's right here. My desk is starting to get messy, and we still gotta paint this thing down. So I'm just gonna add that little bit right there. I said I didn't want this thing to be too steampunky, and look, Tanya, look what you made me do. And let's see the other side. Let me cut a little piece of this out. Let's go ahead and do this. Maybe not. Let me curve that out just a little bit. There we go. You alter your pieces. This is what I love working with chipboards. You get to alter them and do all kinds of fun stuff to them. Chipboards is amazing to work with. So let's get that nice and stuck on. So at least we have a little something kind of coming into life right there. Nothing too major, but sometimes the smallest little things have the biggest impact. So let me just dry this real quick because I gotta get to the painting, you guys. Then we're gonna add some flowers here and there. Should I paint the flowers or no? I'm wondering if I should even paint the flowers, if I should just go into creating my scene and then adding my flowers as they are. Maybe with a little bit of gesso here and there, but nothing too major. I really like this. I like the little butterflies on it too. Gives it a nice little pop-up dimension. The can is not too overflowing. So we shall see. I got a little teeny bit that's kind of sticking out and it's irritating me. So clip it. You gotta clip it before you dry it. You gotta clip it before you dry it. There you go. So just kind of to hold it in place a little bit. And I think I'm gonna give it a little coat of gesso and decide what I want to do with these flowers. So let me go ahead and do that really, really quickly. So since I already am drying, I might as well get all that drying stuff out of the way, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do with these flowers and stuff. So I'm just gonna give this a quick little dry brush. I'm not gonna go too technical with the gesso, just a little bit light dusting of the gesso, I should say. And I'm not gonna go too much onto the papers themselves, but I'm definitely gonna try to catch some of those edges so that as I add my color into them, it picks up nicely and it kind of also blends in. These pieces, you don't even have to gesso. Honestly, those cured pieces, you can just go straight into them with the paint if you wanted to. I'm just gonna do it because it's got glue on it as well, and I just want to make sure that all my pieces are in there. So I'm just gonna do a quick little just adding of that, just in case. Just in case. That just will dry nicely around the edges, and that glue and paste should hopefully hold that down for me. So again, I'm not trying to remove all of the color off of those metal pieces. I don't mind them showing up at all. Kind of adds a little bit more to the piece, if you ask me. My gesso is kind of like a paste on its own. I make it really, really thick when I want it thick, or I can make it really loose. It all depends. But for the most part, it's like a paste. That way I can use a gesso as a modeling paste as well when I want to. All I have to do is add a little bit of baby powder to make it thicker if it's too loose for me to use as a paste. And voila. Oh my goodness, that's a loaded question. My favorite medium to work with. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And as in medium, you mean like adhesive wise, texture paste wise, or are you including the acrylics in there? Because if you're including acrylics in there, girl, hands down, it's acrylics. But if you're talking about like pastes and stuff like that, as a medium, I would say like metallic waxes is my favorite go-to for most things. Definitely my acrylic paints, all-time favorite, will remain my all-time favorite, I think, forever. And let's see. As far as other stuff, this is lifting. Hey, you, give me a little bit of glue, man. I just need a little bit. Let's press this down. Oh, you like playing with the inks? Those sprays that you, oh my goodness, those sprays are nice. Those sprays are nice. My only concern with those sprays is that I'm gonna go through that bottle like in two hot seconds because I'm gonna like it. Usually we don't use the ones that we're like, oh, okay, you know, like for some reason they just feel like you can just replace them easily or you don't need them as much. But for something like that with that vibrancy and that gloss and just the way that it reacts to each other, like that's something you will want to put on everything. I know I will waste some things quick. I think within the first demo, I'll be like, hey, you guys, I'm here to show you something. I won't probably have any left after that. I'll probably use it all up. Okay. I just needed to glue that down a little bit because it was lifting. And now just keep adding my little bit of gesso. But yeah, I definitely love like anything that's kind of watercolor-ish as far as medium. See, the waxes that I use are the Deco Art waxes, and those waxes are water soluble. So they kind of activate kind of like a twinkling H2O would. And they become like a watered down, very shimmery, you know, kind of color, watercolor. And I love it. You can use them dry or you can use them, you know, watered down. Usually I will water it down. The only downside to those waxes is the fact that it dries, and a lot of people don't know how to use them once they're dry. But literally, when they're dry is that I turn them into watercolors. That's the best time to turn them into watercolors, once they're dry. I'm not sure. I think that the Prima ones, I was told they don't react to water in the same fashion that the Deco Art ones do. So I have to try those and see how much I love them. Plus, they're permanent once they're on. The Deco Art, they're permanent once they're on, but you have to obviously dry them and stuff like that. And while you're starting to work with them, they're water reactive still. So you can, again, mix them with your watercolors, play with them like if they're watercolors, or add accents to your acrylics once you've painted, which you guys are going to probably see a little bit of here today. Okay, so I think this is pretty good. I still can kind of see my paper. I'm going to try to keep it in mind not to cover my paper up. I always cover my paper up, you guys. I'm terrible at that collaging thing. They're amazing. I love them. I love them, and I haven't even tried them. I can't wait to try them. I got to get at least a few colors. Definitely a blue, definitely a pink. I definitely need a black. I definitely need a white. Those are my main ones for right now. If they get a gold, oh, I'm gonna definitely need that gold. Real quick and in a hurry, I'm gonna need that gold. But yeah, those are gonna be the colors that I'm gonna focus on: is a pink, a blue, a black, and a white. But now, because pink and blue can make purple, I'm thinking, and white can basically make any color pastel. Black can give me depth. Yes, I did go. I did go. And it's reasonable. It's reasonable. I'm a hard karate window shopper, you guys. Like, I will look at something that I want for the longest time and not buy it. And then one day I'll just be like, just do it. And I'll do it. Like, out of nowhere. I have to kind of like talk myself into doing it. Literally, just get it. Just get it. Just do it. Just do it. Does anybody else do that? They talk themselves into buying stuff that they don't necessarily need, but they know they want. I'm phenomenal with that. I'm like, just get it. Just get it. But usually I say that after like months of telling myself, nah, not today. Nah, not today. Are you going to get it today? Nope, not today. Let me go check to see if it's still in my basket. Yep, it's still there. Nope, not today. It's all once. It is all once. Because we can, I mean, I was doing art with like nothing. Basically, I was DIYing everything from my stencils to my molds to everything I was DIYing at the beginning because I didn't know about brands. I didn't know about anything of anything of anything. All I knew is that I like to paint. I like to, you know, draw faces and stuff like that and paint faces. And I'm like, that's all that I knew. I didn't know anything about anything else. Come here and you're like Tim Holtz, Prima, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh my goodness. All right, so this is pretty much good to go. I kind of like it. It's not overwhelming. This little guy right here is giving me a headache. I'm not going to lie to you. Look at that. I took the whole thing off. Thing popped off like nothing. Oh, let me see if I add some gesso to this right here. Maybe it'll hold a little bit better. So let me just gesso the inside of this and dry this piece up a little bit. Sometimes that helps when it comes to adhering it with hot glue. Is if you gesso the metal and then adhere it, usually it'll grab better. Yeah, she did a great job of showing you the colors, and you can see the reactions between the colors and everything. Awesome, awesome live. So I'm just gonna dry this up a little bit. What time is it? It's 9:24. I would like to be done by 10. Let's see if I accomplish my goal. Let me get a glue stick from right here. Usually I will be getting off of my live by now at the time that I was going live before, which was 7. Once I switched it to 8 o'clock, now everything seems different. It's like, oh my God, I'm running late, but really I'm right on time. Yes, there are 2 videos. I only made it to the second one, but from what I saw, amazing. Okay. So now let me go ahead and readjust so that, just to restick it, just in case. I'm going to lay it on kind of thick on this one again because this little chunky monkey's not trying to stay still. And I need it to stay still. So I'm going to do the same thing to that one, just in case. I need to get like a glue that like dries up instantly. Why am I getting this? I need this. And I know it's probably because of the heat tool, because the heat tool is heating up the glue on the inside and it's making it loose. I'm going to try not to touch it once I glue it. And then we're going to go in with some paints and stuff and get it a little bit dirty. Let me put this thing over here. So is everybody like stocked up? Is anybody even stocking up? And if you are stocked up, how many weeks of preparedness are you? Somebody asked me, that was like, oh, so are you gonna quarantine? I'm like, I've been quarantining for years. Okay. I've been quarantining for years. I don't go nowhere. I'm about the casa. That's what I'm about. So all of this, stay in your house, like, okay. Give me a hard one to do. 1 week's worth, that's about us. We're like maybe a week, 2 weeks. We got the essentials. We got pernil, we got chicken, we got beans, rice, oil, just the essentials. What every Hispanic household usually requires to survive a week. That's what we got. All right, so we got this. I think I'm gonna add this afterwards. And I don't know if I'm gonna add blue ones or pink ones, but I'm gonna add those. I think I'm gonna leave those colors as they are. So what I'm gonna do now is actually start playing with the colors, and start adding some paint in here and getting my acrylics out. Yeah, we're 5'2". We're 5'2". It's myself, Sasson, and our 3 kids. And ice cream. Yeah, we got ice cream. Yeah, we definitely, listen, you guys, we had to get ice cream. What was the last type of ice cream to at the store? I was like, listen, girl, take 3 steps to the left. Back up, back up. You can have the toilet paper. Give me the ice cream. People seem to forget that they can take a bath. Like, I don't know. Anyway, let's not go down that road. I'm like, I'm not gonna be fighting for no damn toilet paper. You crazy? You out your mind? I got so much like paper pads. Moisten those suckers up is a wrap. I'm just kidding, you guys. Do not do that. That's a creating the craft room. Don't do that. Yes, we gotta have that ice cream, right? We need a reason to smile every day. Why not make ice cream that reason, right? Something to look forward to in the middle of all this insanity and uncertainty. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm using the color Treasure because of course we're doing junk to treasures, and I'm gonna try to do like a background, like night, like daytime scene. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just apply color here and there. And again, I'm not worried about what I'm catching, what I'm not catching. You guys know how it is, right? If you've been here before, you more or less know how insane everything can get. So I'm just gonna kind of cover everything up. And again, I'm gonna try my hardest not to get it on the paper too much, but I know it's gonna be kind of hard for me to avoid because I say no and my mind literally goes right there. It's like, did you mean this part right here? I'm like, yes, forget it. It's too late now. It's too late now. Okay, so I'm just gonna go into all of this and I'm gonna start building up my layers of blue. and whatever else I'm going to be adding on here. I still want this to have kind of like a rustic feel, I think. At least that's what my mind is telling me right now. But we all know that she tends to go through like a whole exorcist moment and be like, do this, no, don't do this. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it all kind of goes. So right now I'm going to add just the blue to everything. And I mean everything. And listen, the dimension of this clay, that's yum yum, you guys. Like for real, it really is. It's really, really yummy. It's very thick. When it dries, you have a nice sturdy piece that you know doesn't feel fragile. Like for me, and this is why I struggle a lot with like clays and stuff. Like when I mold with like polymer clays, and like some of even the other pieces that I've done with polymer clay, I'll adhere them to my art and stuff like that. And thankfully, these are pieces that I have here in my house. Hopefully, nothing that I've ever given to anybody has fallen apart. But listen, it could happen. So shoot. Sometimes those things will go falling off. Like I'm traumatized with that. Like they'll fall off, and like you'll just be walking around your house willy-nilly like nothing, and the next thing you know, you find like this piece on the floor, you'll find that piece on the floor. I'm like, what the heck? And those polymer clay pieces, they don't hold well with just any glue. You need like a specific glue to use that, especially for like long term, because it's just not gonna do it. It just doesn't hold well, especially with like hot glue and stuff like that. That's something that I've had to learn the hard way. So for me to find a good glue a good clay that works well with like hot glue and regular glue is like super important, because you don't want to create a beautiful piece of art and then the next thing you know it's falling apart. Like you don't want that. You definitely don't want that. So I'm gonna go in here with all this blue, all this treasure, and I'm just gonna put it everywhere. And this is obviously a whimsical daytime scene. It's not supposed to be based on any type of reality. And if this is your reality, let me know where the door is, because I would love to pay you a visit. The paper, I got a little bit right here. I got a little bit right here. This one, I don't know. I got a little bit right there. So I got a little bit. I got more. I could always decoupage it over afterwards. Let's see. So we got some blue. Let me get some of this rustic. It's like a brown. I'm trying, you guys. I'm always trying, right? Listen, as long as I can enjoy myself, that's all that matters to me. As long as I'm still creating and laughing and enjoying the process of what I'm doing, I'm Gucci. I'm good to go. I don't need anything else. I'm one content person. Oops. I'm trying to take the thing off and I'm taking the label off. All right. And this is rustic. Again, this is chalky finish paint. This is not like glossy or anything. That's actually rather matte. And I'm also going to pull another color out over here if I can, which is a color that I used the other day, which I really liked. It looks like pumpkin. It's an orangey kind of color, and it's called Heritage, and I really think it's really pretty. Kind of gives it that patina kind of vibe a little bit, but also kind of adds a little bit of vibrancy to it. So I'm going to add a little bit of that, just a little bit. And I'm going to kind of stifle my color in, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of that to kind of do that in the bottom. And we'll see what happens, you guys. I just trust the process, not so much myself. I just trust the process. I know my choices in color sometimes is like, what are you doing? But somehow it tends to work, so I stop fighting. I stop fighting myself. I just let it go and do what it do, right? So we're gonna add a little bit of that. And again, I always go through that, oh man, what the heck did you do moment? But I never tell you guys, and I just keep it pushing. And I keep it going. I just keep adding layers. I'm like, okay, you guys, now we're gonna do this. Let's just bypass that whole little situation altogether. Don't fight the feeling. That's right. Don't fight the feeling. So this is gonna look a little crazy, but I kind of like crazy. So we'll see. We'll see if it actually works in my favor. We'll see if crazy actually works in my favor. So, and again, just adding a little bit more of that blue. In some places, it's gonna blend a little bit with that orange, and I like my stuff to have kind of like a rustic kind of feel to it. I like this heritage a lot, especially mixing with this blue. I don't know so much about the brown, honestly. I like the heritage a little bit better than I do the brown. And you guys know I need some teal, right? Let's go ahead and grab, I need some teal. So I'm going to use this Peacock Pearl, which is the closest thing to teal that I have, and that's a metallic color. And let me go ahead and add it with, yep, just add more paint. Oh, Carmen, shake, shake, shake. Shake the bottle. All right. So I just picked up a whole bunch of like blending fluid there. And more blending fluid. What the fish is going on? Okay. Yep, Carmen, intelligence at its finest. That's right, girl. Grab the brush, put it in there, and then grab the barrel. That's how we do it. That is how we do it. Okay. So, starting over, baby wipe. Check. I came prepared this week. Last week, I was like grabbing toilet paper and all kinds of stuff. I have. If I show you all my paintbrushes, your jaw will hit the floor. They all look the same. They all look the same. I do this to the brushes, to all of them. I do it. I can't help it. I discombobulate the life out of them. Always have. I think I always will. Okay. I think I'm going to pull out some darker colors in here. Because these is not giving me what I want. I'm not 100% satisfied with it just yet. So we shall see what we do. Maybe I'll add some colors with my fingers for real, and get some vibrancy going. Let me go ahead and dry some of this so that I can continue to add more colors. Let me get some sprays and just see kind of like where we go, because I got to be happy with it at the end of the day. I didn't put all this work into it and not be happy. So let's dry this baby. It looks a little crazy right now, but hopefully we can get it to the point of perfection. Perfection in the sense that you're happy with it, not that it's actually perfect. I don't think we could ever really achieve that per se. Not on this salary anyway. Oh, really? I get paintbrushes all the time. Like I'm constantly buying paintbrushes. It's ridiculous. And I go through them so fast because I just love them so much that I just can't put them down once I get them. And I don't stop using them until they look like this one over here. All right, so I think that's pretty good. Let's see. We have some waxes here. Let's pull out some waxes and see. Let me get some Cosmic Blue. So these are the waxes. Oh, this is green actually. So let me get some Cosmic Blue and I pull the green out. Hello. Okay, this is turquoise. We're gonna totally need that. Where's my blue? Here's my blue. And again, these are water soluble types of waxes. This one's Cosmic Blue and this one's Brilliant Turquoise. And when you get them originally, you buy them, they're nice and creamy. This one's still nice and creamy. You can pick it up with your finger. But sometimes after a while, they'll get a little bit harder. So you can still pick up the color, but it'll be a little bit tougher for you to get it off. Again, what I love about these waxes is the fact that they are water soluble. So if you do like to do watercoloring and stuff like that, or if you like to do a lot of water soluble type of inks and stuff like that, this will definitely mix really nicely with all of that. To wash what out? Let's go ahead and start adding some of this. And again, that paper mostly disappeared, as we kind of knew, right? We kind of had the feeling that that was going to happen. Again, I'm still trying to stick to this blue sky theme that I got going on in my mind. We'll see how well it kind of all goes together. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff happening here, but hopefully it all kind of works hand in hand. Let's just go ahead and add this blue everywhere. Even on some of these. Oh, with paintbrushes. I can't help myself. I love paintbrushes. Like if there's something that I'm addicted to when it comes to craft supplies, it's definitely paintbrushes. It's definitely paintbrushes. That's one thing that I absolutely love, 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 love. And I know I'm adding blue at the bottom too. My mind just kind of goes off and I just like disconnect from my fingers disconnect from my mind and they just keep going kind of. So I like that blue on there. So now let's see what else we add on here. We got the blue. Let's add some turquoise. Again, the turquoise is going to be a little bit of a pickle. So I'm going to go ahead and spray it down with some water. And basically what I'll do is like I'll clean my finger off. And then I'll just run my finger around it and create a slurry. Depending on how thick I want it, I'll just keep doing that to the consistency that I like. And then we'll just kind of go over it. Go over it. And I have some sprays that I want to actually spray in here so that I cover up a lot of those little nooks and crannies that I really can't get into. So I'm going to see what kind of spray I got. You can also always use a brush. This one's dirty. Don't use a dirty brush. Use a clean one. Okay. Let's see. Where did I do my brushes? Here it is. Here's one. Here's one. Here we go. So you can basically kind of fill in all the nooks and crannies with a brush if you want. Again, while it's in kind of like a water state, you know, water soluble consistency, you can totally add that. I'm going to get a darker color in here because I think we need some darkness, some contrast. And I think I'm going to use the dark color to kind of bring out a lot of these rough edges on here. So let me go ahead and give this a quick little dry. Hello, Marge. How are you? Long time don't see. The paper's gone. Oh, yeah. It's all about the layers, okay? That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. It's like art journaling. I always do collaging on my art journaling, and it's like I'm just making the paper thicker because it goes away. I end up covering it all with paint. Never fails. Okay, so, but I do like that. I really, really do. Let me get some sprays. Give me a second. Let's see what we're gonna use here. Let's see what comes out because I don't know what will work or what won't work. Oh, okay. I'm gonna definitely add some white splashes to this. Um, just because I think it'll make everything look even nicer. Let's dry this up real quickly. And you can still see a little bit of the paper. Just a little bit. Yes, right? Paper the whole spray paint, right? Just the grip. Just give it a little grip there. I like how it's coming out though. And a little bit of orange kind of gives it a little bit of brightness. So I'm probably going to add a little bit more here and there, maybe to the butterflies just to make them stand out a little bit more. Maybe to some of the centers here and there. So before I do that, I want to go in with maybe a little bit of black. So I'm going to see if I can find a black spray or something like that. Just to add a little bit of darkness to this. But I kind of like the colors as they came out. I just have to add a little bit more orange here and there. But you know what? Let me do that real quick. Let me do that with my finger, actually. You saw how, guys, how my video starts and my table's all empty and it's all nice and ready for crafting. And like 30 minutes is like everything falls off the shelf. All right, so I'm just gonna use my finger real quick and just kind of just add a little bit here and there. A little bit on the butterfly. Really like that butterfly. Some of those gears. Just a little wipe, right? These are the earthier tone kind of colors down here. This is the ground part, so just a little bit. Just kind of adding a little bit. I don't want to overwhelm it too much with the orange, but I do want it to be visible throughout this. What do you guys think? Can you guys see the colors and stuff? And on the sides. And I like the texture of the can because it's got those ridges. It almost looks like I put them in there. And I mean, we have the paper. What's left of it. You can't really see it, okay, you guys? I'm so sorry. But you know, casualties. What can I say? Thank you, Sasso. Thank you, love. So let me go ahead and clean my hands. I think I'm not gonna be hot gluing anything else, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off. You guys, we're on the last leg of the project, and I think I'm gonna make it. Yay! So let me go ahead and do this, cover this, move this, do this, shake this, all of this and all of that. But adds a smooth texture and contrast to the ridges. Yes, it does. I really like it. It kind of created a little bit of a buffer space. At least is what I'm gonna call it. I have no idea if that's actually what it did, but you guys know. With me, Cheerios, all Cheerios are Cheerios. So you can just imagine the rest of my vocabulary. So here we go. And let's see. What I don't know, I invent. Oh, thanks, love. I'm glad you like it. I kind of like it too now. It's you know, I'm getting there. Let me go and get some black ink, and then I'll be done. I think I got some black ink. I hope I got some black ink. I'm looking for it. I found some. We found some, you guys. We found some. This is my little DIY thing. A little DIY bottle. So we're just gonna spray a little bit. Just gonna spray a little bit, right? Just a little bit along the top, I think, just so they can kind of catch some of those little areas there. And maybe along here, along this bottom. Not too heavy, but just a little bit, just to kind of pull out some of that contrast. And then a little bit of white splashes, and I think we are good to go. Oh, where was I spraying? Where was I spraying? Okay, I like that. A little bit more, actually. Me like that. I love drips, you guys. If you've never been to my channel before, I love creating drips on my projects. That is something that I actually do 9 times out of 10. I just love the way it looks. I love the way that the color spreads. I love it when it mixes and mingles with other colors. Sometimes the colors create an effect with each other because they're, you know, they react to each other in odd ways. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's dry this and see what else we need. And I didn't want the black to be too predominant, which is why I used the spray as opposed to actually acrylic paint or watered down acrylic paint. I wanted it to be like a see-through, very transparent kind of black. Just catch little places here and there. Settle in different places. And I originally was gonna draw like flowers in here. I still might, I'm not sure, but if I do, it won't be today. Because even when I'm done with a project, I'm never ever really done with a project. I always go back to them and add more stuff. I sprayed right in your eye. I probably did. That's so sorry. That's so sorry. It was never my intention to hurt the onlookers. All right, so I like that. It's got a little bit of dark to it. Nothing too major. I can see some of that heritage, which is this color right here, which I really like, and I like how the contrast that it gives with this one, which is the treasures, which is like a baby bluish kind of almost aqua color, not all the way aqua, but leaning towards the aqua side. And then we have the peacock pearl, which is more of a metallic color. And we also use the brilliant turquoise in the metallic waxes, as well as the Cosmo blue in the metallic waxes. And I really, really love it. This is DIY sprays that I've been using. And I made these sprays with pH Martin inks and either water or alcohol, depending on which one. I'm not sure. I think it was water, to be honest with you. And that's what we have. And I really, really do like it. I really, really do. But I think it needs a little bit more. Oh my goodness, Carmen, stop, Carmen. See, this is when the artistic OCD kicks in, and if anybody suffers from that, raise your hand, because I go through this like a mad woman, and it's when I never feel like my project is all the way finished. I'm just gonna pick up some of this and just kind of add a little bit up here along these edges, just to make that edge a little bit darker. I just feel like it needs it. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't, but it could just be my imagination. But I like it a little bit darker, especially around this piece right here. All right, so now all we got to do is get some white paint, some water, splash, 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 and we are good to go. I normally don't put sentiments in these kinds of things, so there's not going to be any sentiment on this. And I did want to add some flowers to it, which I don't even know if I'm going to now, because the color scheme maybe... I don't know if these little pink flowers are going to even look good on there. I think it looks better without it. So no flowers, you guys. And this is why I have flowers still, because every time I'm going to use them in something, I'm like, I don't like it. Usually when I do like a mixed media assemblage and I'll add a whole bunch of different stuff, I definitely throw flowers in there. But flowers is not always my go-to thing. Only sometimes when I feel flowery. So what are we gonna do now? Oh yeah, some white paint, and then we are going to call this a day. And I still have actually some string left over, and I think this will match nicely. So this was part of my junk to treasures last week, so I might as well add a few of these and tie them up around the top, right? I think that'll look nice. Let me spray some water and then I'll do something with this and then we'll be good to go. And at least it'll have some kind of decoration. You can paint the flowers there. Yeah, I'm going to paint the flowers there most likely. I don't think that the OCD in me will allow me to just leave that be. Okay. I need white and I'm pulling out every color but white. Here we go. Okay. So there's not much white paint in here. So what I'm going to actually do is spray into this bottle. Hopefully that's more than enough water. I'm going to shake that up. Not always. Like I always find it hard to like put flowers into some of my projects. Now, some of my projects, you know, they like shabby-ish, something or the other. Definitely, you know, flowers that your mind automatically thinks of, you gotta add flowers. But when it comes to like other stuff, like sometimes it's a little bit hard to add them as they are. Now, if I'm gonna add gesso over them, then come on, you guys know I add flowers to everything. But sometimes it's a little difficult because the flowers that I have are not like, you know, they're not like the creme de la creme. They're like flowers that I bought quick in a hurry. That's my story, you guys. I'm sticking to it, okay? No more flower questions. I do love my flowers, though. I love making them as well. And I think that's probably what it is. I have to make more of my own types of flowers, the ones that I like, the way that I like them. Because when I buy the packs, I just feel so limited. I'm like, oh man, they only bring 6, and if I use 1, if I use 2, like that's it, the pack is gone. And like I get, you know, I get emotional. So let's see. Will this? Oh, okay, it's starting to come out. Will this? Big choppy little pieces for now. Because I'm gonna smudge those in to make like little makeshift clouds. So I'm just gonna kind of tap those in. Remember, this is supposed to be kind of like a nighttime sky or some kind of sky. So I'm just gonna tap those in and create like these little cloud type things, I guess. And then I'm gonna put some on the table and allow it to, you know, pick it up so that I can splash little smaller things. This is supposed to be whimsical, so hopefully I have achieved that said whimsicality. And I like the white on it. It gives it a nice little contrast. Kind of gives it like that running kind of cloud situation. And I'm gonna do this, and spray more, and splash, splash, splash. I plead the fifth, you guys. I plead the fifth. No, I love my flowers. And any video that you guys have seen, you've most likely seen flowers in it. That's why Monica made the comment like, what? You want flowers? What happened? Did you guys have a disagreement? Yeah. It's just like sometimes I'll have really nice ones. And again, just like with everything else, you know, when you buy something to use, for me, I use it quick. Like if I bought it, it's because I plan to use it. Otherwise, I feel like a hoarder. So I have to use it. I have to use it automatically, like as soon as I get it. Or I feel like I just bought stuff just to buy stuff, and that doesn't feel too good. At least for me, it doesn't. So I always try to make sure that if I bought something, it's because I really needed to use it. I had a project in mind, so I'm going to use it. So I use all the good stuff first. And then I have, you know, the ones that are like don't match so well left over, and then I don't know what to do with them. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. If any places that I don't want to get any white ones, I'm just going to smudge them in. And make it maybe a highlight as opposed to a splatter. Okay. But I like that. And I think I accomplished my mission. I think I came here with a mindset of creating some kind of daytime scene or nighttime scene or something or the other. I've been doing a lot of sea-themed projects. I still got a few more to go, so those are not out of the ballpark yet. So if you love sea-themed things, or projects, you're definitely going to get quite a load on my channel during the rest of the spring and the summer, because I have quite a lot of stuff to go through. But with that being said, this is finito. I'm going to tie some ribbon to the top and call my little pencil holder done, or whatever it is. You can put whatever you want into this. Honestly, these kinds of things can store all kinds of stuff. Doesn't have to be for brushes or pencils. It can be for knickknacks. It could just be purely decorative. Use it to your heart's content. See how easy it is to give something like this dimension and bring new life about it. There's no point in throwing something like this out. I've personally collected 10 of them. I got to start getting these done so that I can hook up my storage, because that's basically where I've been saving them. I'm going to be doing stuff like this to all of them, and then, you know, putting them to hold my brushes, to hold my colored pencils, to hold different things. But I really like it. You're definitely going to see some close-up pictures of it on my Facebook, as well as most likely my Instagram. I'm not sure if I'm going to put some on my community post, but I might. If you don't see any there, definitely check out my Facebook page. That's where you're going to find them. So let me just grab a little bit of this and just kind of wrap this around a few times. Actually, let me kind of twirl this about. Yes, I am. Yes, I am still going to do that. I'm actually working on new designs to add to that. So that will be definitely coming, but it's not going to be sold through YouTube. Once I do create the platform to sell those, I'll come back and put a posting up and let you guys know what the link is, so on and so forth. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll get all the heads up from that. So yes, I will definitely continue to do that. I will continue to design and I will continue to create. I might have to hot glue this up, even though I turned my thing off. Let me just trim this down. I'm also planning on doing like, I just bought a new digital tablet. So before I was working with my daughter's digital tablet, which is a little bit different. And the program that she uses is a little bit different than the program that I'm using now. So I've been practicing how to, you know, the buttons associations and all of those things with this new software. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm planning on doing kind of like a live review demo type of thing with you guys, where you actually come along with me and see how it is that I go about creating those types of images and so on and so forth. All right, so I'm not gonna fiddle too much with this. I just want this basically for a little pop of color. And I'm not gonna do a bow on it, I don't think. Maybe not. maybe not. What do I want to do with this? I think I want to do kind of like this, long and short in the top, kind of long at the bottom, and kind of do like a crazy little star majigger, kind of like my shining star, right? Kind of like my shining star right there. And put that right up against that edge right there. Something like that, right? And here we have it. Today, Junk to Treasures was an altered coffee can. We used some trim from last week's Junk to Treasures project. I used a lot of Deco Arts chalky finish paints on this. I also used some of their Dazzling Metallics paints, as well as some of their waxes. You guys, some metal filigree pieces, assorted metal filigree pieces. We basically built all of our clay pieces with QuickCure clay by Ranger. So if you want some information about that and my experience with that project, then definitely go to the beginning of this video, which is where I go into the discussion about my experience with this clay. And the pieces were molded using some of your embossing folders that you might not even use or haven't used in quite a while. They have beautiful, great texture inside of them. A lot of them do. and you might be able to get some beautiful different textured pieces, and you can cut them out in any shapes and sizes that you want. So that is an awesome way to also incorporate some of your embossing folders into something like this, like mixed media wise. So I definitely encourage that. I really love how it came out with the beautiful flower, the gears, everything is kind of working. Everything is just everything. So you guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, I so greatly appreciate all of your support and all your love from the bottom of my heart. I will be here again on Saturday, you guys, at 8 p.m. For next week's Mixed Media Live. Also next week, which is the 21st, on Saturday, there is going to be the first part of the event, the A Worlds of Hearts live stream event. I always struggle when it comes to saying like that. I want to say it wrong. And we're gonna have a whole bunch of like paper crafters that do cards and all different kinds of paper projects. So if you want to see that and you love those kinds of projects, definitely stay tuned to that. I won't be a part of that event live stream for that day because I'm not much of a paper crafter myself. However, I will be on the mixed media side, which is on March the 28th. And on March the 28th, you're gonna see a slew of mixed media artists showcasing all different kinds of project styles and techniques. So definitely make sure to tune in for that. You guys already saw a little sneak peek of what I'm going to be sharing with you guys during that live stream. I hope that you will join me. It will only be for an hour, you guys. So I'm going to be like zoom. So be ready. And I will see you all then. Stay blessed and stay safe and healthy, you guys. Corona free. Bye.